So this is for probability and statistics 11.5.3. So just some questions about the lesson here, which is like evaluating studies. So evaluating statistical studies with honesty, correlation, causation, skepticism, accuracy, confidence intervals, that kind of stuff. Okay, so this first question, which of the following estimates at a 95% confidence level most likely comes from a small sample size? So the key here is that basically the smaller the sample size, the broader the range is in terms of like the interval that you have to go. So I guess the wider the interval. So they're saying that, okay, so they're saying that like 71% is the percentage, and from there, they're not, oops, I'm sorry, I don't know why I wrote 91, so 71%, they're not super confident. So we would have to add 18 to 71 and also subtract 18 from 71 to get our range in terms of like the actual percentage. So if I subtract 18 from 71, this would be 53%. If I add 18 to 71, that would be 89%. So now all of a sudden you can see this is a really wide range from 53% to 89%. So we're 95% confidence that our range is between here, 53% and 89%. That's a pretty wide range. All the rest of these are just like, so plus or minus 2%, plus or minus 4%, 6%. That's pretty small. So they're saying you add and subtract only 2% or 4% or 6%. So the margin of error is much smaller, okay? So this is from a smaller sample size because if you don't have as much data, you have to take into account that like, you're not taking like as large of a group. So without as large of a group, typically the more data that you have, the more accurate your estimate is going to be. So if you don't have as much data, it's going to be less accurate, which is why we have that larger margin, okay, the 18%. So the largest margin that I highlighted in yellow there, the largest plus or minus percentage is going to be your smallest sample size, okay? Okay, number 2, when researchers correctly interpret the responses to a survey question, this is poor analysis. I don't really like the way this question is worded, but it says if they correctly interpret. If they correctly interpret that, that's good analysis. If they incorrectly interpret something, that would be poor analysis. So however I want to think of that, this is worded opposite of what it should be. So incorrect, if they incorrectly interpret, that would be poor analysis. If they correctly interpret something, that would be good analysis, okay? So those are the wording pairs that should go together. All right, number 4. The 4 candidates in an election are each supported by a different political organization, as shown in the table below. If a report is released that speaks very favorably about Don Harper, okay, so we want to look at Don Harper here in a second. Which of the following political organizations having published the report should it result in the most skepticism? So if you look at this table, it says that Don Harper is basically supported by political organization C. So if they put out, like if the political organization C, whatever that is, if they put out like a study or a report that speaks very favorably about him, of course they're going to put out something that speaks favorably about him because they're in support of him. So if I were to read a report about Don Harper from political organization C, I would be skeptical about this, okay? Because I'm like, well, this organization obviously supports him. They've gone out on a limb and said that they support him. So of course they're going to speak well of him, whether they, whether the data is there otherwise or not, okay? Any of the other organizations, A, B, or D, they don't support Don Harper, so what they would have to say is probably like, I wouldn't be as skeptical of, okay? So, but C, we know group C definitely wants to support Harper, so they're going to speak only good things about him, okay? That's like saying like the Democratic or Republican Party is going to speak only positive things about their candidates, something like that, okay? Okay, and then question 10, this is the last one. Which of these would not make you question the results of a survey? Sorry about that. So which of these would not make you question the results of a survey? Okay, so the only thing, like the only one of these answers that makes sense is if you have anonymous answers. So there's like this huge thing in the Apex study of this session, and it talks about like when you give anonymous answers, if you tell if you tell the group that you're polling or surveying or observing or whatever that everything is anonymous, they're more likely to give you like accurate results. So you don't have to question the results of the survey because the people are not, like, they don't have anything to risk. So for things that are sensitive, it's best to have anonymous answers. So to tell the people, the results of the study are completely anonymous. We don't know who said what. So, you can be as honest as you need to be. Okay?